Hey, good morning. So, to start off with, I think that you first need to define, if you're trying to build wealth, what is an asset? So, the simplest definition of what an asset is something that makes you money. There are five main categories when it comes to asset classes. So, they're paper assets, commodities, real estate, business, and cryptocurrency. I'm going to go into a brief explanation of each one, or definition, if you will. Paper assets include things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, life insurance, etc. Anything that is just on paper that could obtain money for you. Okay. Commodities, they include precious metals, oil, or any raw material, primary agricultural product, anything like that is a commodity. Now, when I speak of this category, I speak of physical products, so something that you can actually hold in your hand or in a cup or something. Not the paper versions found on Wall Street like SLV or things of that nature, GLD. Those are actually paper products. They are not commodities. Real estate is the third category, and this includes residential property, commercial property, or agricultural properties. Anything that's land-based that can make you money is real estate. Okay. Then business is the fourth category. And business is basically a system that exchanges goods, services, value, something for money. Now, really, if you're going to the heart of it, how you make money off of real estate, that's kind of like its own little business. But it's the system of business that makes you money. It's commerce. Okay. And then last but not least is cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrencies are the newest type of asset class, and there's literally like 13,000 types of cryptocurrencies currently out there, according to CoinMarketCap. I didn't look at the exact number this morning, but it's up around 13,000, if not exceeding that at this point in time. The most popular of those being Bitcoin, Ethereum. Those are probably the two most, and of course Dogecoin. I'm sure we've all heard of Dogecoin at this point in time. But I had to actually look up what the definition of a cryptocurrency was because it's so broad. And according to the new Oxford American Dictionary, they define it, a cryptocurrency as a digital currency in which encryption techniques are used to regulate the generation of units of currency and verify the transfer of funds that operate independently of a central bank. So crypto, as it's commonly referred to, and it's what I'll refer to as a Wild West asset because it is highly volatile, highly speculative, and it's truly an unknown at this time. Sorry, I'm flipping my notes here. So the quality of these will get better over time, I promise you guys. But since you can create profits within cryptocurrencies, I feel that they must be included as an asset. I'm going to change this on the fly. I'm going to add a subcategory that heavily influences every single one of these categories. My asset subcategory is the individual. So why would I say that? It's actually pretty simple. All these categories are highly influenced by the behavior of the individual who controls the asset, regardless of the category. And I might get some pushback saying that you can't actually control the price of a stock, and that's true, but you can control when you purchase and when you sell it. So regardless of the category, the individual can cause influence to have the asset succeed or fail. I'm not saying it's always purely based on the individual who controls that asset at that given time, but it's highly influenced by it. For example, a piece of real estate that's being used as a rental property, there's a high likelihood that there are routine expenses every month that the person who controls the property has to pay. And that includes mortgage, property taxes, homeowners insurance. If they're not able to successfully manage the property by collecting the rent in excess of the routine expenses, then they've got a problem. They may have actually managed the property right out of being an asset into becoming a liability. Now, I'm going to do a future video on liabilities, but this is a great moment to do a brief definition of what a liability is. A liability is something that costs you money. Fairly simple on the surface level. So an asset makes you money while a liability costs you money. And quite frankly, many times it's the person attempting to manage the assets that determines whether or not whatever it is, be it a stock, gold, a house, a business, or Bitcoin, whether or not that becomes an asset or remains a liability, by whether or not it is profitable when they manage it. So really, if you think about it, anything can be an asset or a liability. I guess you can look at most things as initially being placed under control as a liability by default because it usually costs money to obtain it in the first place. Then, and only then, can it have the potential to become an asset through appropriate management. Maybe that's a little bit of a mind shift that people need to take. I don't know. It would probably make investors a little more humble anyways. So the last thing I want to touch on is what sets apart things that are potentially assets, or what I like to refer to as phantom assets, and things that are assets without question. And the one thing that sets these two categories apart is something called cash flow. In particular, positive cash flow. Cash flow is simply the direction that your cash is flowing. So it's either flowing to you or away from you. Referring back to our house rental example earlier, if the property is managed well, it would bring in money every month, causing positive cash flow. If it's managed poorly, it will cost money, causing negative cash flow, but the value of the house may still increase. So on paper, the person who controls the property looks like they're making money gains. But until they actually sell, they've got nothing. That's why I call it a phantom asset, because it looks like an asset, but really you don't know. Let me use Bitcoin to illustrate this another way, just because it's a popular asset for some people these days, because it's gone so astronomical in price compared to where it was when it was first created. But let's say you bought in at $3,500 in 2018 at the low, and now it's in the $60,000 range. So again, on paper, it looks like you've made a killer gain, but until you actually sell, you've got no clue what you actually have, because let's face it, anything you purchase now may be sold for less in the future. So regardless of what it is, there's definitely that possibility, and that goes for houses, commodities, whatever. So really, when you haven't sold it, you've made nothing. So, thanks for watching. Please smash the like button below. And if you'd like to become part of an engaged community of individuals learning how to increase their wealth, join my new Facebook group. It's called Nothing to Something. It's developing the investor mindset. So again, that's Nothing to Something, developing the investor mindset. And it'll be in the description down below. So see you next time.